And that's
open.
your
You can
opinion.
certainly, you can appeal that. But the last time I checked, it's not legal for white people to stab black people in the state of Texas either.
Hey,
Dominic, you keep saying that black lives don't matter, but no black lives were lost here. A 17-year-old white person was killed. So what are you talking about?
what I'm talking about is 35 years. Carmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years. Yet at the end of the day, Black America repeatedly is told that self-defense is a part of the law. That a knife under 5 inches is legal in the state of Texas. That stand your ground is legal here in the state of Texas. But when a black person try to use those same basic rights and laws, then we're not afforded those things. We're doing those things unjustified.
This guy that's interviewing this preacher scammer, he's good. He's good. He's good. He's good. He started off the conversation with saying, "What do you mean by black lives don't matter?" No black lives was even lost in this situation. But they're going to use the Black Lives Matter thing because now it's election time. It's time to get the black ignorant people stirred up. And he ended it with a white life was eliminated. It should be white lives matter, to be honest with you. He then proceeded to say, not to answer his question, but then he went on into this rumble saying that, yes, maybe a black life wasn't taken away. He didn't say that. This is just what I'm, thinking. But Carmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison. What do that have to do with what he just asked you? He asked you a simple question. What do black lives have to do with this case? Because no black lives was lost. It was a white life. And if you commit any type of crime that goes against the books of the state or the federal government, you may get 35 years. That's how it goes. I don't understand how this preacher is trying to make an argument for this particular case. I contemplated multiple times. I said, you know what? Let me see it on another angle. But there's no angle. Any more angles, I'll fall off the building. If I step one more foot on that ledge, I will fall. There's no way to get around this guy, Carmelo Anthony, justifying him to putting a knife into another 17-year-old while at school. You just can't justify it. He's trying to make the argument that a knife under 5 inches is legal. Yes, a knife under 5 inches is legal in Texas. We get that. But he failed to continue the rest of that sentence. Just because something is legal, it depends on how you use the legal item, right? Like, for example, you can go to a country, right? And maybe a certain type of item is illegal, right? But if I take that item, I hit you upside the head and beat you to death with it, now that item becomes illegal, right? That's the way the law works. In this country, we have the mentality of, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to say what I want, and nobody going to do nothing about it. And that's a percentage of, I hate to say a large percent, but it's not. It's a small percent of the black community, and also other races, but it's just that the black community is just they take it to a whole nother level. They basically patent ignorance. They patent ignorance. You could do what you want and say what you want. I get it in this country, right? But you have to do it within the confines of the law. You just can't do what you want to do and say what you want to say if it's against the law. We are all here to follow the law. He keep continuing with his rhetoric. Oh, self-defense is not for black people. He got his MLK voice on, and he's trying to bring back this 50, 60 movement because it's a money-making thing, especially with people, that's kind of, they're not right upstairs. So they know how to go portray it and blast it, and they work with their emotions. The same way politicians know how to work with their emotions. Most things that are done in this country that's centered towards that small population of people, and there's a lot of white people involved in that category too, but right now is more, on the scale of the black folks, well, that segment of black folks. Things that he's saying, he has no statistics on it. Where's your statistics on when black people use self-defense, we all get locked up? All of us get locked up. That's not true. You could actually go on YouTube and you could type in black person self-defense, and there'll be tons of videos with black people that didn't get charged because they used the self-defense in a proper manner. Correct? You also could go on YouTube and you could type it in. You could type in white people who got locked up using self-defense the wrong way, and it will show you tons of videos from state to state to state with a whole bunch of white people that have been arrested because they used the self-defense not within the confines of the law. He want people to believe that white people could just go around, stab you in the chest, shoot you in the head, and go home and eat breakfast. And believe it or not, there are people that's actually home that's gonna go, yeah, that's, yo, man, yo, I'm scared of white people. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of nigglets outside shooting and killing right outside their window. But at the same time, they're gonna say, "Oh, I'm scared of white people, boss. I'm scared they gonna stab me in the chest and they gonna shoot me and kidnap my family. All I want to do is pick this cotton and try to get off this plantation." That's all you want to do, bro? That's it? Okay. Finish up your last bucket. Make sure you fill that goddamn cotton to at least 2 pounds. And you could take a 5-minute break off the plantation, bro. He also asked him specifically, why did Karmelo Anthony bring a knife into school when it's not prohibited to be in school? He then said, oh, I can't comment on Karmelo Anthony. What? If you can't comment on Karmelo Anthony, what are you even doing here? Why are you even speaking about the subject if you can't comment? Huh? Biden? That means he's here to make money and just blabber. The way he's talking, he knows that he doesn't make any sense. Sometimes you could listen to somebody and you could just hear it like, oh yeah, he knows he don't make sense, but he's good. He's good at hustle. This is a hustler. I know a hustler when I see a hustler. And I'm telling you, this guy, he's good. But he failed to answer his question because that's what the world wants to know. Because guess what, y'all? Karmelo Anthony did not get on the stand and let us know why he brought the knife. You know why he didn't let us know? Because he know he had ill intentions. He know he was in the wrong. Karmelo Anthony knows that what he did was very distasteful. I'm going to say that. That's why during the court proceedings, he kept his head down from what we was told and the pictures that we saw and from other witnesses and other media platforms that said he kept his head down. A person that knows that the thing that they did was right would sit there with their chest out and their head up, right? A lot of us out there is just, especially men, that they side with Karmelo Anthony. I understand the family members. You know, if that's your nephew, that's your cousin, I get it. You just got to be ignorant because the family will basically beat you up. But for the rest of us that side with that type of thinking, if somebody touch you or push you or grip you up, you could stab them in their chest. That's not a good way to live. And it's not a good way to think. And Karmelo Anthony knows that. He knows he did wrong. So why he didn't want to look them in the eye, the father in his eye. He didn't want to look anybody in their eye. So why when they gave the verdict, guilty, you know what he did? Cry. Because that's what a kid does. I need to stop saying kid because this is a 19-year-old man. But this is what a 19-year-old man does when he knows he's guilty. Again, the interviewer also asked this fake MLK scammer. He said, "Tell us what happened." He said, Karmelo Anthony was invited into the tent, but that story is not being told. Sir, that was definitely explained very clear in court. Multiple times. You are the person who was a spokesman of the family, correct? And you don't know that detail? You don't know that that was already explained in court multiple times, that a friend of his who also testified said that he was invited by me under the tent because we knew each other. But of course, his job is to brainwash a segment of the population and to keep them dumb and to keep them stupid and to make sure that they don't really know the facts and to make sure they don't really think for themselves. And I'm going to tell you what he's doing. He's doing a very good job. You got these guys that come out of prison and, you know, they pimps and hustlers and they get into this Reverend Act. Tons of them. And I'm going to tell you, New York has hundreds of them. They come out of prison, they did 20, 30 years, or they got all type of criminal history, felonies, they've been pimps, and all of a sudden they put on they voice change. All of them sound like MLK. They put on these suits and, you know, and they get a congregation, they get a whole bunch of ignorant people around them, where they get just enough. They get enough idiots around them to make other people believe that they are the truth. But they're nothing but low IQ individuals. The guy asked him, the interviewer, he said, "Yo, why do you feel that Karmelo had the right?" He said the state of Texas says that. This is what he said. The state of Texas said when somebody is assaulted, they don't have to return the same action. He's saying that basically when you are assaulted with hands, you can stab somebody in the middle of the chest at school. So he's basically sending a message out there that if your child is in school and walking past the locker room and somebody pushes them into the locker, or maybe, you know, your child is walking and maybe somebody put their foot out and they trip over their foot and, you know, they stumble a little bit, He's saying basically we could just stab everybody. Everybody could just get stabbed in the chest. Whatever world that this guy is trying to create is a world that he needs to live in by himself. Because that is a dangerous world. That's a world with a lot of dead bodies and a lot of people with a lot of holes in their chest. You know what I mean? These fake reverends, they changed the whole story of it. He said to him that all 20 of those people that testified, and also the defense witness that also testified, he said that none of them had the same story. None of them had the same story. Then why was Karmelo Anthony convicted? What was the other story? If none of them had the same story, what was the other story? An individual that is a witness is only testifying by what he saw and how he or she interpreted the situation. What story is he even talking about? From what I read and from what I gathered from multiple platforms, it sounds like they all had the same story, that Karmelo was in the wrong. Even the kid that got on the stand, and the prosecutor asked him, when me and you sat down before the trial began, I asked you, was Karmelo surrounded by a group of people before the accident? He said, at first he said yes, because he thought he was saying that he was surrounded while he was being stabbed. But Karmelo was surrounded after he stabbed him. Nobody was around. If you look at the video, I know a lot of people didn't see the video of the stabbing. I did. If you look at the video, it shows that Karmelo Anthony and the victim, they was by themselves. Nobody was really around. People didn't start coming around until they saw him holding his chest, and then Karmelo ran. He ran. Now, let me ask y'all this. Why would a person run that is innocent, that just did something that was self-defense? Why would somebody run and had to get stopped by another employee at the school, and had to get watched by another male employee at the school, which that person who stopped him originally told the male employee, don't let him go anywhere. Don't let him go anywhere. He just stabbed somebody. Where was he going? Was he running home after he just did a civil duty of self-defense? If you honestly think that stabbing somebody in the chest while you're in high school during a track meet, and that person have no weapon, you could fight, you could wrestle, you could do whatever you feel that you could do, that he could do to you. He knows. He knows. He knows he did wrong. But the black community, what they'll do, they'll pat him on the head, and they want him to feel good about what he did. Oh yes, finally another white man gone. What do a 17-year-old white boy have anything to do with what the hell y'all talk about 400 years ago? What do a 17-year-old white boy have anything to do with what happened in 1960 and 1970? We're talking about a high school kid. You see people on these social media apps like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's time for these white people to get it. If they've been treating us bad, we've been hosed down. Sir, you have a good job and you got a nice house and a nice car and live in a decent neighborhood. What are you even talking about? This is a 17-year-old. He wasn't there when you was getting hosed down in 1950, and you probably wasn't even there. A lot of people have these emotions of pimped up narratives that happened back in the day. Yes, it happened. It's all documented. It's all in the library. It's all in the computer. You could type it up. It's still on Google. Google didn't get rid of none of that information. It's still there. Trust me. It's history. It's American history that need to get destroyed at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? The interviewer also asked him, can a black person ever kill a white man and just go to trial and just face the jury, face the judge, without a city being destroyed and without it being a race issue? He then to proceed to say that I didn't make it a race issue, you did. How did he make it a race issue? This guy is a scammer. You could obviously tell this guy's job is only to stir up race and rile up a group of people. His job, and people like him, they're not here to make peace, to come to a conclusion, or, you know, answer a problem that's going on, that maybe we could find a solution. The last thing they want is a solution. They want destruction, confusion, and they want funds from you. The only thing he wants is money, money, and money. That's it. He says he's the president of the largest civil rights movement in North Texas. I don't understand how, because he could hardly even talk. Even the words that are coming out his mouth, he's misinterpreting certain speeches, the he's and the she's and the it's and the we's and the you. If you listen clearly, it seems like he's not a smart man at all. But maybe he's just tired, you know, it was a long trial. So he's saying the same narrative that they used to talk about back in the 1940s and 50s, which back then, they was 1000% correct. Life for black people, colored people, I don't care who you was, Asian, Filipino, it was unequal until to the highest. Our rights was not respected back then. And he's saying the same narrative. We just want our rights. We just want our basic rights that everybody have. We do have the same rights as everybody. We do have the same rights as everybody. But your job is to confuse a group of people, to make them think that we don't have any rights at all. White people could just walk around and just get the slashing and go home and eat pickles. I don't know if they eat pickles, but it sounds like something that they be eating. But it's wrong what these race hustlers do. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And if y'all are still falling for this, this is the most played out play. I don't understand how people who are older than me, especially, because they went through way more race hustlers than I have, are still falling for this. It's a game that is like, it's so outdated and it's really getting corny. All it's doing, these race hustlers, all they're doing is putting you back, your whole generation back 100 years. Destroy your own city, you know, you don't want to be around and assimilate into society, and, you know, just do right and raise your kids right and teach them what the right things. Teach them that everybody should show, that you should show love to everybody. Unless somebody don't show love to you, then you just walk away. You go about your business. You don't have to be around people that you don't like. And Karmelo Anthony, if he didn't like that section that he was in under the tent from this tornado, he had the right, like everybody else, he had the basic right to get up, like they told him 15 times, and go about his business. But Carmelo Anthony chose to stay there. You know why? Because he knew he had the problem solver in his pocket. And that was that knife. I hope he enjoyed every last of those 35 years. Every last of it.